Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome.
Igbi and Gospel teared up in silent pain. How Queen Naomi's return has shaken the palace, a palace in turmoil, as Queen Naomi's presence stirred deep-rooted fears. It is not a small something, no. We are hearing right now that the palace of the Ooni of Ife, known for its rich history and cultural significance, has once again become the epic center of royal tension, silent battles, and mystical forces at play. At the heart of the unrest is the return of Queen Naomi, the woman whose presence alone has tilted the balance of power within the royal household, leaving some of the Ooni's Oloris in tears, frustration, and helplessness. Among the most affected, they said, is Igbi and Gospel, who despite their outward display of strength are said to be deeply shaken by the resurfacing of course, Olori Naomi. Fate has a way of rewriting history, and the tide have returned in Queen Naomi's favor. You know, this thing about the, stampede in Ibadan, brought so much mixed feelings. Everybody had something to say. People called Naomi names. People said all sorts of... In fact, in her return statement, I don't know if you guys saw it in her channel where she, appreciated her fans, appreciated people, mourned the loss of those children and all of that. She made a statement, just one small phrase. She said her eyes have seen and her ears have heard. That alone goes to tell you the things that people have said about her. But you know something? God is faithful no matter what. It might tarry for a while, but God will show himself stronger than anything. Now, Palace Insider whisper of a deep and growing sadness within the chamber of, the Oloris, especially Igbi and Gospel. For months, they had thought they were, secure in their position as wives of the Ooni of Ife, enjoying the privileges and prestige that, came with their title. But the reality is far from what they had envisioned. Queen Naomi, the chosen one, has returned, not as a rival, but as a force beyond human contestation. The night after the Ooni's intimate dinner with Queen Naomi and Tadenikawo, they said Igbi reportedly locked herself away, refusing to engage in any, palace activities. That is today. Of course, they said she was able to go out for a while, but they say all today has been tears. That tears flowed freely. Her pain unmarked. She was said to be inconsolable, realizing that despite all her efforts, she could never command the level of love and devotion that Queen Naomi effortlessly received from the monarch. That's the Ooni of Ife, or the second, they are really Oduduwa. I love Ooni of Ife. I like him so much. He is indeed a great king, okay? And if I hear him, I don't care what anybody says, it's my own opinion, okay? They say Mrs. Gospel, the preacher, was not, spared from the wave of despair. She had tried to mask her emotion as well, but those close to her noticed that her spirit had been dampened, her usual confidence shaken, okay? Determined to reclaim her position or her place in the Ooni's heart, Igbi made a bold move. She called for an urgent meeting with the other Oloris, hoping to strategize a way to win back their husband's attention. Her message was clear. We cannot sit and watch while one woman takes all the honor. We must act now. They said this was posted on the WhatsApp group. She urged the other wives to stand together to devise a plan that would restore their influence and, and weaken Queen Naomi's hold on the Ooni of Ife. But to her greatest shock and humiliation, none of the Oloris showed up. They said they didn't show up because of the fear of the ancient sword. Why no one dared to attend? Now, they said the refusal of the other wives to hit Igbi's call was not just a sign of resignation, it was a reflection of deep-rooted fear. Within the sacred walls of the palace, there exists an ancient sword which we all know, an artifact of immense spiritual power, said to be the guardian of the royal throne. This sword, shrouded in mystery, has long been a silent judge over matters of the kingdom. It is said that this sword recognized the true queen, the one chosen by the gods, and that anyone who dares to stand against her would suffer grave consequences. It's not business as usual. It's not like before where, anybody could come up and do whatever that they wanted. They say things are different right now with the awakening of the ancient world. And that is why they said these women refused to show up for that meeting to strategize against Oloris Naomi. Now, about the sword, legend tell of past queens and rivals who attempted to fight against the divine order, only to mysteriously fall from grace, suffer great misfortune, or even vanish from history. Palace elders often remind the Oloris that no one can sit on the throne unless the sword recognizes her presence as legitimate, okay? They say the Oloris fear a warning too strong to ignore. The other wife, though frustrated, knew better than to challenge fate. None of them wanted to risk angering the ancient sword. None wanted to be marked as the woman who dared to oppose the chosen queen. One of the wives reportedly whispered to her maid, "The sword is watching. We dare not move against Oloris Naomi anymore. It's not business as usual." Okay? Now, they said the wife who whispered is Ebony, okay? That she's not ready to go through that drama again. Another Oloris who had once been vocal about wanting to secure more favor from the Ooni was said to have changed overnight, choosing to retreat into silence rather than involve herself in a battle that she knew could turn against her in ways she could not predict. They said at this point, even palace chiefs, men who had previously taken sides in royal disputes, were said to have distanced themselves from the growing tension, refusing to align with any side, okay, out of fear of divine, issues, okay. While the wives lament, strategize, and tremble in fear, the Ooni of Ife remains firm in his devotion to Queen Naomi. His every action sends a silent but powerful message. His heart has always belonged to her, and nothing would change that. They said he has said that over and over again. His decision to resume international trip with Oloris Naomi was, one of the things that made him very, very happy when he was dancing with his queen, while celebrating her victory with her. Queen Naomi is irreplaceable. What lies ahead is something that none of us can tell, but we do know that God is able to make all things, great for those who believe in him. I'm going to bring you more updates. Do not forget that these are all alleged, rumored, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.